Hi folks, this is Didier from Pixio. Little update from since last week. While I was in Japan, Cyril was still in Bahrain and Dubai, presenting to Visa and to the Housing Authority in Dubai or use case. Urs, who's our roving ambassador now, full time, was in Beijing, Singapore, Dubai, Amsterdam, Dublin, and then London, and now he's back in Zurich. So I think he's trying to beat me in terms of mileage, and he certainly does an amazing job here. This week he's meeting with UBS Wealth Management Head of Innovation, as you know, in Zurich. As you know, we have a pilot going on with BNP regarding wealth management, and we're expanding this now to other, of course, wealth management companies or banks. The same spirit, we're leveraging our experience with banks now in several other countries. So Nordin was with BBVA and Bankia in Spain earlier this week, last week, and then also UniCredit in Italy, and ING in Belgium, presenting or what we did for BNP and ready to do with BPCE in France. So same strategy. We're trying to repeat the success we had there and dig our hole into the banking system in Europe. While they were doing that, as you know, I was in Japan all last week and meeting again with MUFG, very large, indeed the financial arm of Mitsubishi, extremely big bank in Japan. It's doing pretty well. We're going to see each other again in 2 weeks when I go back there, and it should be the final say to set up a pilot if everything goes as planned. Then we met also with Fujitsu, and they invited us to their incubator program, which is a 4-month program with Fujitsu, specifically for blockchain and the management of personal data. As you know, GDPR is very important for them. That's a worldwide brand with distribution, of course, in Europe. They have smart appliance, and they want to get into that. They also have a very strong distribution service or software distribution service in Japan, mainly to bank. I think they're serving around 60% of banking industry in Japan. So they're, of course, interested to distribute us, and being part of the incubator would be a good way to test what we can do together. I also met a very interesting bank, pretty unknown from us, but the largest rural bank in Japan. It's called the Norinchukin Bank. It's a little bit like the Crédit Agricole in France, and extremely big. And they're just starting their journey into digital world, and they want us to be an advisor there. So this is something I will discuss next time I'm back there. I also met with Eight Roads Venture, which is the arm of Fidelity in Asia, which is very interesting for us because Eight Roads is also in Europe, and then it's under another name here in the US. So for us, that could be a very interesting partner. They were a very good first round discussion there. Again, we'll continue when I go back. Same with Arbor Ventures. You're probably familiar with that name. Arbor is a pretty large VC firm with setting all over the world. And again, these are the kind of partners in equity that we would be interested to have with us if we ever go that way. Last but not least, I met with ADK, which is probably the largest media and advertising group in Asia, and they're trying to propose other services around data, of course, to their customer. And our proposal was very interesting for them, especially they had one client in mind in the food and beverage industry that is trying to propose now services around data and wellness, which kind of makes sense. And we have a good use case for that. So we present it to them, and we should hear back from them, I guess next week or the week after when I'm back here. This week, for me, it's a lot of catch up to do, both with the team and with prospect, the ones I mentioned, and some other. And I have my main focus this week is the meeting with Public Consulting Group. Public Consulting Group is potentially our partner here in the US to tackle the healthcare industry. They're extremely well introduced with the all the exchanges, healthcare exchanges, especially Medicare and Medicaid. And we're working on a pilot proposal with one state, one exchange out of one state, and them and us, to address eligibility and identity verification, etc., for Medicare. I don't know how you call that, members or patients or something like that. Anyway, we're working on that because we have a large presentation in during the Congress for Medicare in Portland, Oregon in mid-August, where we will present that use case and hopefully get good traction out of it. There's a lot of application for blockchain in the healthcare industry. As you know, I was here 2 weeks ago to the Congress here in Boston, but they still have to figure out use case that can be immediately demonstrable, and that's where we can come because we already have the appropriate blockchain with PikcioChain. So that's my main focus, and I'll talk to you next week about we may speak around that. Thank you, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.